Hi, this is Laura. Welcome to week 6 of the course, and I wanted to just quickly go through some of the learning materials and the assignments that are coming up and to just check in and see how things are going for everybody. So in week 6, I'm going to go ahead and click on the Module 3 overview in Canvas, and in these weeks you're going to see primarily week 6 right now is available to you. Weeks 7 and 8 will be coming. And so what we'll be looking at are continuing to look at the ethical theories and their applications in real world situations. And then, of course, we have more presentations coming up. And so some of the activities will lead to the outcomes of continuing to recognize and critique the ethical theories, evaluating ethical issues relevant to the real world and your professions, and then assessing and applying ethical practices and philosophies. So I am trying, as I mentioned before, to provide more applicability into our activities. So I appreciate your patience as I get those rethought through each week and so on. And you'll see when you go into the overview area that you have a reminder for those of you who are still doing your presentations 1 week prior to your final presentation, make sure you post to your small group for feedback. And then in week 6, you have the overview, the learning materials, and then you've got some assignments. It looks like a really long list, but 3 of these things are presentations for one student to do in their week 6. And one of them is actually me. We have 13 theories and and we have 12 students. So I am doing the prima facie duties and I will be posting that this week for you. So you can start reviewing it and providing me feedback and questions. So like I said, there's these 3 items that are just, one of them is for me, and then 2 others are for other students. Reminder that I added here on the end that for the student, they're assigned to post, and then all other students have 1 week to look at the presentation and provide feedback. But you also have a quick reflection in week 6. And so in between weeks 6, 7, and 8, which are part of module 3, you're going to have a quick, what I'm calling a pre-reflection. That's why the word pre is here. I'm going to click on it, and you will be just doing a very quick review of the learning materials, and I'll show you in a moment. And then you're going to do a 2 to 3 paragraph scholarly reflection on at least 2 different learning materials resources that caught your attention. And as we get into these modules, one of the items that is shared with you is this CAS statement of shared ethical principles, and it's really going to get us into the prima facie duties. And there's also a variety of videos and other online resources for you, but I do think you'll like it. It becomes a bit more applicable, a little less philosophical as we get into some of these theories going forward. So make sure you take a look at this. The intent is for you just to do kind of a quick gut check. So think of it as a pre-activity that will allow you just to kind of go, what am I thinking about these? Pick 2 of the resources out and just give me 2 to 3 paragraphs of what you're thinking by the due date. And then just to give you a heads up, there will be in week 8 a post reflection for you to say, what you did in fact learn, or anything that might have been true or different about what your initial post was. So that is just to give you a heads up. There's a pre and a post reflection. You'll be doing the pre one in week 6, and then the post will be coming in week 8. And then the other thing that I added in here is optionally, I added this student community forum. It's a discussion board. I've had some feedback, and I am trying to listen and incorporate some areas for you all to share your thoughts and ideas and brainstorming about the various ethical philosophies and principles. So it's available for you to go in. This is your area. You can ask questions of one another and give feedback or critique, and please enjoy that space. I hope that helps, and give me feedback if there's more I can do to help out. Regarding the learning materials, I want to look at that with you. There are a lot of chapters over these next couple weeks. As I've mentioned before, you do not have to read these chapters beginning to end. If you're primarily going to become an expert on the theory that you have chosen for your presentation, but do kind of make sure you at least look at the chapter headings, maybe the key chapter sections in these various chapters. And but what we're going to be moving into, we've been into the normative ethics elements, and those are kind of the absolute, what's called kind of absolute moral rules, where there's a single rule that you need to follow. And now we're going to be moving into areas where there's a little bit, broader understanding and adding on to that normative understanding. And we've also looked at some of the ethical pluralism, which is where people, started to have more than one moral value that they were evaluating, and sometimes those would be contradictory. And one of the things to mention as you go through your work in these next couple weeks is to notice that ethics are around you all the time. Every time you make a decision, there could be, and there may very often be, ethical implications to your decision making or your actions. So try to keep that in mind and really think through it, especially because we will be having come up in our next few weeks the second part of you building and developing your own ethical philosophy or code that you will be sharing with your peers and getting some feedback. So keep thinking of that and taking notes for yourself. So you'll see that here's the CAST Statement of Shared Ethical Principles. It's from the Council for the Advancement of Higher Education. The prima facie duties, which are, the author of that is Ross, and he's generally the person that came up with prima facie duties. And then here are some other things on the application of these various concepts. And so you've got a bunch of videos. You don't have to watch all of them. Just pick ones that you think you might have some interest in. They're not very long. And then there's also some other online resources here on the various topics if you want to dig in a little more. And so I do hope that helps you. And I am trying to give you as much information, but not to overwhelm you. Like I said, try to just keep in mind that the materials are there for you to dig into as you see fit, and to give you kind of the most benefit for your time. But you don't have to spend all your time on the reading. Just get into the various activities. So in week 6, I already mentioned the overview, the learning materials. You have this pre-reflection, and then there's the presentation for those that have to do those. And then there's this optional student forum where, again, there's no points. It's just for you. And so that is for now what's going on for week 6. Please keep me posted, and appreciate all your good work. Thank you.